I'm reading chapter 9, which is called Enchanter, the King Enchanter. The King Enchanter was a tall man, and magic had made him taller still. It was curiously difficult to look at him, for he always seemed to be slightly changing shape, blurring in and out at the edges. But underneath the constantly changing outline of his face, where magic came and went like waves on a coastline, he was stern and unbending as a cliff. He was such a very powerful wizard that there was something very scary about him, even when he was just standing there quietly. He had one black fingernail on his right hand, and there was a story of how that fingernail had turned that colour, but no one dared ask the enchanter what the story was. Two very large, very old snow cats settled themselves on either side of the enchanter, as if they were statues framing a door. Tsar and Luta staggered to their feet like a couple of carbon scarecrows. "Tsar!" snapped the enchanter. "What has happened here? What are you doing competing in the spelling competition?" There's the King Enchanter. He's always got this magic sort of ball with him. Kind of ball that kind of floats in the air. The cold anger dropped from the enchanter's voice for a second as he asked, "Has your magic come in at last?" The enchanter's voice was eager, too eager, for it told his son how much the enchanter wanted that magic to come in. "It has," said Tsar. "It has not," said Luta. "Well, Tsar," said the enchanter sternly, and this time you could hear his disappointment. "Has it come in or has it not?" "Maybe not," admitted Tsar shakily. There they are. There's Tsar squaring up to his father. You can see his father very stern. "Well, Tsar," said the... "Oh, yes. Has it come in or has it not?" "Maybe not," admitted Tsar sulkily. "Then why are you competing in this spell?" began the enchanter. But Luta was so cross he rudely interrupted his father. "He cheated. He's completely out of control," roared Luta. "He went into the Bad Woods this evening with some mad plan that he was going to catch a witch and use its magic for himself, and then he tried to attack me with this..." Luta was going to tell the enchanter about the sword, but unfortunately the enchanter punished him for his rudeness by sewing Luta's lips tight with his magic before it got to the end of the sentence. One flick of the enchanter's little finger and Luta's mouth shot together like he had lockjaw. Ranta, Tsar's tutor of wizardry and advanced spellwork, now rushed forward. Ranta was a huge pomposity of a man with a nose like a dignified lobster and various quivering, outraged chins. His air of dignity and calm was disrupted by the fact that he was being closely followed not only by some very grand and ancient sprites, but also 6 small piglets gazing lovingly up at him, winking lovingly up at him. Do you remember what Tsar did at the beginning? He put a last spell on the piglets. "I've tried to speak to you about this on many, many occasions, Enchanter," cried Ranta, "and you have chosen not to listen. This is only the latest in a long line of disobediences. In the past week, your son has ridden his snow cat up the flagpole, removed the flag of the wizard tribe and replaced it with a pair of your excellency's underpants. He has burned down the west part of the camp." "That was an accident," objected Tsar, interrupting. "I was just teasing the chimney spikes and they couldn't take a joke. Besides," he added hurriedly, "wasn't me and I wasn't there." Oh, at the last complaint, Ranta's voice dropped to a thrilling, furious quiver that made his chins quiver from side to side, banging against one another. "And worst of all, he has poured Love Never Dies potion into the pigs' feeding troughs, and the pigs are behaving in a most outrageous fashion." Despite his intense annoyance with his younger son, the enchanter's lips twitched with amusement. He looked down at the pigs, gazing up at Ranta adoringly. "Ah, yes, I did wonder why you had taken to having pigs as followers, Ranta. Not very dignified for a senior wizard of your standing, I thought." "The pigs," spat Ranta, "are not my idea. Your son has inflicted them on me, and you should not find this amusing, Enchanter. Your son's disobedience and lack of magic brings dishonour on our whole tribe." "What do you have to say for yourself, Tsar?" said the enchanter. "You have no evidence," shouted Tsar furiously. Look, that's Love Never Dies potion. You see, it says... So, truth, lie, absolute whopper of a lie. "You have no evidence," shouted Tsar furiously, punching the air. "I am Tsar the Magnificent, and I demand a fair trial." "Of course," said Enchanter the Magnificent. "Could you show me what you have there, Tsar?" He pointed to a package that was poking out of one of the pockets hanging around Tsar's waist. Very reluctantly, Tsar took the package out of his pocket, and then Enchanter insisted he unwrapped it. The package turned out to be a burned flag of the wizard tribe tied around a half-full bottle of Love Never Lies potion. Kanze shook out the flag. Yes, I would call this evidence, wouldn't you? And I pronounce you guilty. I've never seen that flag before in my life, proclaimed Tsar. Unfortunately, Tsar was still holding on to the bottle of Love Never Lies potion. And Love Never Lies potion has two properties. One is that if you eat it or smell it, you fall in love with the next person or animal you see. The other is it turns from red to blue when the person who is holding it tells a lie. And Kanze watched the Love Never Lies potion as slowly the liquid turned from maroon to a sort of smoky indigo. Someone must have put that flag and that Love Never Lies potion into my pocket because they certainly don't belong to me, said Tsar, carrying on lying in a hopeful sort of way. The indigo of the Love Never Lies potion darkened to black at the magnitude of this untruth. The bottle filled with smoke and shook in Tsar's hand. The cork shut off and Tsar hurriedly recorked it. But not before a fine mist of Love Never Lies potion had drenched the little piglets, sitting in a quiet but loving circle at Ranta's feet, and this fresh sprinkling made them jump to their feet again, oinking madly and making ruder and ever louder noises as they tried to get Ranta's attention. "Arg!" roared Ranta, batting away to the piglets. "Get off me! Shoo! You beastly creatures! Shoo!" Only Tsar dared laugh at this entertaining sight, because the enchanter had stopped being amused. He was staring down at his younger son with thunderous eyebrows descending down over his fierce hawk eyes. "You are not only guilty of everything Ranta and Nuta have accused you of, Tsar, you are also a liar and a thief," said the enchanter grimly. "Curse his beastly father. Why do you always have to make Tsar feel so small? And now you must give up these silly little tricks of yours and grow up," said the enchanter. Well, all these other things are just stupid and babyish. Trying to obtain a source of bad magic is a serious crime that wizards have been expelled for in the past. "And he should be expelled," said Ranta, breaking in with excitement. "The last son of Kanze, the magnificent king of wizards, not to have magic? It's shaming, it's terrible. What if the magic never comes in? We will be the laughing stock of the woods." Tsar's stomach did an uncomfortable flip. "You are only saved from expulsion by the sheer stupidity of your ideas," said the enchanter with withering coldness. "Even a 13-year-old should know that witches are extinct. And if there really was such a thing as a witch out there, only a madman would try and get within 100 yards of it." And Kanze pointed his finger at Tsar. Kanze did not need a staff to concentrate his magic. It blasted out with such pure intensity it was not even visible. Tsar's blackened clothes closed around him so tightly that he could barely breathe. We'll have the last half of the chapter tomorrow. See you then.